This conference will now be recorded.
So from last three sessions we are discussing, what is the drawback of procedure orientation and what is the advantage of object orientation. What is the advantage of object orientation, like we are discussing. What is the problem with the procedure orientation? Can you please repeat, everyone? Data and code that act upon the data into a single unit of organization. The data and code that act upon the data, they are not properly organized in procedure orientation. We can organize them in a proper way in object orientation. Sir, if they are not properly organized, what problems will come? Complexity cannot be handled. Data is not secure. Complexity cannot be handled and the data is not secure. So in objective orientation, we have some mechanism called why don't you club the data, which is very important, and eligible code that act upon the data into a separate unit of organization. Why don't you club that, so that ineligible code of the program cannot access the data? Ineligible code of the same application cannot access the data. Sir, this clubbing is nothing but encapsulation. But remember, always a new technology, it should not only concentrate on the drawbacks of the old one, it should provide some extra facilities also. So in objective orientation, the first two features are drawback covering features of procedure orientation, and these two will give additional flexibility to the programmer, so that within a short period of time we can implement a project when compared to the other programming languages. So these are two features will provide you RAD. RAD is nothing but rapid application development. Now, sometimes in the interview board, people can ask you, can you please show me in your Java project where is encapsulation is implemented? You just answer them, in my project, wherever you encounter the term called class and object, their encapsulation is implemented. Now we are supposed to understand what is a class and what is an object. Sir, before understanding what is a class and what is an object, just for a few minutes we are going to move from Java to the C programming language, and we are about to answer the following four questions. What is that? What is a structure? Why a structure? What is the limitation of a structure, and what is the need of a user defined data type? So remember, sir, that C language is providing some fundamental data types called char, int, float, double. Sir, these are called as primitive data types. Primitive data types are fundamental data types. Fundamental data types. So remember, with all these fundamental data type, sometimes we can't implement a project in a flexible manner. For example, sir, I want to develop a banking application. In a banking application, what is the repeatedly used term? Sir, account. If I want to represent account, if I want to represent one account information, happily I can use char, int, float, double, no problem. But we cannot represent one account information in a flexible manner. We can't represent one account information in a flexible manner. Then you may thought in a different way, sir, why C language is not providing me a data type called account, a data type called employee, a data type called student, a data type called book? It is very helpful for me at the time of developing some kind of application. Then what Dennis Ritchie is saying that, so don't worry, we are having a beautiful feature called structure feature. So with the structure, hello user, whatever the data type you want, happily you can create your own data type. So what is a structure? What is a structure? How to create a structure? Sir, this is the way how to create a structure. If you want to create one data type with the name called student, can you please write all the attributes of a student? Sir, these are all attribute: roll number, student name, total, average. So this is the way how we can create a structure. This is the way how we can create a structure. Now tell me, what is a structure? Sir, structure is a, first of all, struct is a keyword. Sir, struct is a keyword. Sir, using structure concept, we can create a user defined data type. Sir, user defined data type. Sir, with the structure, what we can create? A plan. Sir, a plan, a proposal, a proposal. Otherwise, we can call it as a blueprint. Sir, I'm going to create one data type. My data type is going to be having roll number, name, total, average. Now, anyone, now observe this. Sir, I have a dream of constructing a house. Sir, I have a dream of a house. Generally, if you want to fulfill your dream, generally what we will do? First of all, we should go for a plan. Am I correct or not? Everybody, first of all, they will go for a plan. According to the plan, first of all, you have to purchase a site. Sir, in that site, by following the plan, really if you construct anything, according to this plan, then your dream will be come to the true. Sir, this plan, so here my idea is I want to create my own data type with a name called student. Sir, this creation of your own data type with a structure is nothing but creating a plan, creating a proposal, creation of a something called a blueprint. So what is a structure? Structure is a plan, structure is a proposal, structure is a blueprint. Sir, what a structure contain? Structure contains data members. Sir, these are all data members. So this data members representing one student information. So what a structure contain? Structure contain data members, contains data members. Sir, what is the structure? Structure is a language construct. Sir, it is a language tool to implement something. C language is having one tool called structure. With that, we can implement or we can create our own data type. So what is a structure, boss? Structure is a collection of either similar or dissimilar data items. Collection of either similar or dissimilar data items. Now, why a structure? Sir, it is used to create our own data type. Sir, why what is the need of our own data type? Sir, already the languages are providing some fundamental data types like int, char, float, double. Why should you have to create another data type like student or employee? Because if you want to represent one business entity, sir, if you are developing one business application, school level application, library application, some company application, some kind of banking application, while developing your banking application, sir, you are going to encounter some term frequently, so which we want to represent in a flexible manner. Those business entities are, for example, student, account, book, employee. If you want to represent them in a flexible manner, definitely we must have some data type. Even though your language is not providing that data type, don't worry, you can create your own data type with a concept called structure. So what is the need of a structure? To represent one business entity information in a flexible manner. Then what is the limitation of a structure? Sir, from last 2 to 3 sessions, we are talking about, sir, what a program contains. Anyone tell me what a program contains? Sir, what a program contains? Sir, program contains data and code that act upon the data. Sir, data and code that act upon the data. Data and code that act upon the data. Sir, data is nothing but variables part, sir. What is a code? Sir, code is nothing but functions. Functions. Now, with respect to my school application, class teacher is one function, principal is another function, sweeper, accountant, clerical staff, clerical staff. So assume these are all the functions. Now the question is, sir, I have created one variable called student one variable called student 2, one variable called student 3. Now tell me, sir, who is eligible to assign marks, total marks for either student 1 or student 2 or student 3. Who is eligible to access or who is eligible to assign marks, total marks for any student? Sir, in procedure orientation, everybody is eligible. Sir, in procedure orientation, either class teacher is eligible, principal is eligible, sweeper is eligible, accountant is eligible, clerical staff is eligible. What is this nonsense? In real time, sweeper, accountant, clerical staff, get out, you are not eligible. Then what should I do? Sir, which things are, which functions are eligible functions? Which functions are eligible function? Can I write those functions inside a structure, sir? Can I write a function, sir? Can I define a function inside a structure? Sir, can I define, sir? In C, we are supposed to write some functions like this. So that's why I said repeatedly, if you want to attend Java classes, knowledge in C must be compulsory. Now tell me, sir, is it possible to club the data, eligible code that act upon the data? Is it possible? Can we write function definitions inside a structure? Sorry, it is not possible. We cannot club the data and code that act upon the data, because procedure orientation never supports this clubbing mechanism. Because of that reason, if anything went wrong, we can't handle it in a simple way, and data is not secure. But in objective orientation, sir, this clubbing is possible. Am I correct or not? Sir, in objective orientation, we can club the data and eligible code that act upon the data. Anyone, can you please tell me, is it possible in objective orientation? Yes or no? Is it possible or not possible? Yes, it is possible, no doubt at all. Sir, it is called as which feature? It is called as which feature in objective orientation? When you are trying to club the data and eligible code, correct. Encapsulation. Encapsulation. Sir, but encapsulation is a theoretical phenomenon. Theoretically, I have explained. Theoretically, I have explained. Hello, student. This is a phenomena in object orientation. We have to overcome the drawback of procedure orientation. But remember, sir, whenever if you want to add data and code that act upon the data into a single unit of organization, this is a no more structure. In object orientation, it will become a class. It will become a class. Now, everyone tell me, in your examination or even in the interview also, if somebody will ask you, can you please tell some points about a class, what should you say? Sir, first of all, class is a keyword in Java. Sir, in Java, we have something called a keyword. I think I need not to tell you. Everybody knows the point. What is a keyword, boss? What is a keyword? Have you heard about this term called keyword? Sir, keywords are nothing but reserved words. Keywords are nothing but reserved words. At the time of developing any programming languages, the developers can reserve some words for some specific purpose. Those reserved words are nothing but keywords. Now, sir, what is a class? Class is a Java language construct. Sir, it is a tool. Sir, it is a tool. Sir, it is a Java language specific tool it was. Sir, using that Java language construct, what I can do? Sir, I can do encapsulation. Sir, it is a basis for encapsulation. Encapsulation is a theoretical phenomenon. Encapsulation is a theory part. How to implement that theory programmatically? By using a concept called class and object. Sir, that theoretical phenomena, if you want to represent or if you want to implement in your project, what is required? Both class and object must be required. Sir, class is a basis for encapsulation. Sir, class with respect to syntax for creation of a class, with respect to the syntax, almost class is similar to structure concept in C. Sir, almost class is similar to structure concept in C. Class is similar to a structure concept. Sir, using a class concept, what we can do? Using structure, what we can create? User defined. So, using Sir, using class, we can create user-defined data type. Sir, tomorrow, can I create a data type with the name called movie? Why not? Can I create a data type with the name called ticket? Yes. Sir, can I create a data type with the name called computer? Yes, you can. No problem at all. So even in the object orientation also, if you want to create your own data type, instead of the struct keyword, we are supposed to use which keyword? Class keyword. Sir, using class, what we can do? We can create our own data type. Our own data type. Sir, what is a class? Class is a plan. Class is a proposal. Sir, class is a blueprint. Sir, I am just planning. I am just planning some data type with the name called student. Sir, this is my idea. This is my plan. This is my proposal for the construction of one data type called student data type. Sir, no one in the universe straight away will go and construct the house. Sir, if they want to construct a house, first of all, they will go for a plan. On the plan, they will decide how many rooms must be there, where must be the entrance, according to some rules and regulation, where must be kitchen, where must be veranda, something like they want to design according to some vastu. Am I correct or not? So we should have some plan and proposal or blueprint before really we are going to construct a house. Like that, sir, whenever if you want to create any data type, if you want to create any variable of student data type, first we must create one data type called student data type. Sir, it is a plan. My student data type must contain the following things. Now the question is, sir, what a class contain? Sir, what a class contain? Sir, class contains data and eligible code that act upon the data. Sir, this is not possible in the structure. Because of that, in the procedure orientation, some problems will come, but it is possible. We can club the data and eligible code that act upon the data. Now, are you comfortable with all the points about the class? Now tell me, are you comfortable with all the points what I have explained regarding the class? Now tell me, what is a class, boss? Class is a keyword. Keywords are nothing but reserved words. Sir, class is a Java language construct, nothing but some tool. Java language construct. Sir, it is a basis for encapsulation. What does that mean? Encapsulation is a theoretical phenomenon. To implement that theoretical part in Java programming, there are two things are there. One is class and another one is object. Sir, with the class, what I can do? Sir, I can create some pillar for encapsulation. So it is a pillar, it is a basis for encapsulation. Sir, with respect to the creation, class is similar to the structure concept in C programming language. Sir, using class, what we can do? We can create our own data type, user defined data type. Sir, what is a class? Class is a plan or a proposal or a blueprint. Now, what a class contain? Class contains data and eligible code that act upon the data. Now, observe here. Sir, this is a class, contains what? This is the data part, and these are the functions that are going to act upon roll number, that are going to act upon student name, that are going to act upon total, that are going to act upon average. These two functions are only eligible function which are going to act upon the data. So using class, we can club the data and eligible code that act upon the data. Now, anyone tell me, sir, anyone tell me how much memory this structure is going to occupy? Float real, float imaginary, two members are there. Anyone in the batch, how much memory it is going to occupy in the, how much memory it is going to take in the memory block? Now, let me tell you, sir, assume you decided to build a house, you want to construct a house. Generally, before building a house, we will draw some plan. It must be an entrance. Sir, there must be some master bedroom here. Sir, here must be a kitchen room. It must be a common corridor. Something like we will draw some plan. Now, anyone in the batch, sir, to draw this plan, will it cost me around 25 to 30 lakhs? Sir, to draw some plan, will it cost me 25 to 30 lakhs? No. Sir, when you are supposed to invest this much amount of money, by following this plan, if you take some site, some place, and according to this plan, really if you construct a house by following the plan, then only it is going to take some amount like 25 to 30 or based on your budget. Sir, this is a logical entity, logically exists but not physically. Sir, this is a logical entity but not physically existed one. Sir, it is a logical entity, but it is a physical existence is there. Sir, physical entity physically exists. Sir, really constructed house is we can touch and feel. It is a physical entity. Sir, it is a physically existed one, but a plan is not a physical existed one. It is a logical entity. Sir, what is one more point to be added to the definition of a class? Sir, class is a logical entity. That's it. It contains some logic. Logical entity. Now, what is the question I have asked just now? For this structure, how much memory it is going to occupy? For that plan, how much amount you are supposed to spend? 0 rupees. You are not required to spend even 1 rupee also. If you are able to draw your own plan, you are not required to spend even 1 rupee also. It is not going to take any money. You are not required to spend even 1 rupee also. So it is a plan. It is just a plan. Sir, for the structure creation, no memory is required. Sir, when this is going to occupy some memory, whenever struct complex C1, sir, struct complex C1. Sir, what is int x? Anyone tell me? What is int x? Sir, x is a variable, sir. X is a variable of which data type? Int data type. Sir, int is a primitive data type, sir. Int is a primitive data type. Sir, x is a variable of the primitive data type. That's why it is called as a primitive variable. Primitive data type means a primary data type, fundamental data type, language developers, whatever the data types they have provided, those are called as a primitive data types. Now my question is, sir, what is the C1 here? Can anyone tell me what is C1? Sir, very simple. C1 is also a variable. C1 is also a variable of user defined data type. Sir, this data type language developers not provided. Sir, it is developed by on my own. It is user created data type. For that user created data type, I have created one variable. Sir, it is known as user defined variable. So when you create a variable for your own data type, you know what will happen internally? Sir, internally, so two blocks are created. Internally, two blocks are created. For this block, the name is real. For this block, the name is real. And for this block, in the memory, it is nothing but imaginary. And assume this is inside the memory block. And this memory, whatever the memory reserved for these two members, you can access with one name called C1. Sir, whatever the memory reserved for all the members of a structure, you have to access them with C1. How can I access that? C1 dot real, C1 dot imaginary. Sir, whenever if you want to access the members of a structure, there is one operator called a dot operator, member selection operator. You are supposed to access them like c1 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 dot real and c1 dot imaginary. Now tell me, sir, when memory is reserved, whenever if you create a variable for your own data type, then only memory is reserved. Sir, when you are going to spend 25 to 30 lakhs, whenever if I create a really, whenever if I create or if I build a house according to the plan, then only I am supposed to spend 25 to 30 lakhs as per your requirement and as per your budget. Now the question is, sir, it is not a structure. Assume it is a class, sir. Assume it is a class. Now the question is, suppose in Java, if I write a student S1, sir, if I write a student S1, now anyone tell me, sir, what is S1? What is S1? Anyone tell me? Sir, S1 is a variable of type. Sir, what is its type? Is it a primitive type? Is it int type? Is it a char type? Is it a float type? Is it a double type? No. Sir, it is a variable of the type class. Sir, it is a variable of the type class. Sir, it is a variable of the type class. It is a variable of the type class, is generally referred as object. Sir, it is generally referred as object. It is generally referred as object. Remember, whenever object or variable is created, then automatically internally memory is reserved for you. Internally memory is reserved for you to store the roll number, to store the data of student name, father name, total marks, average, everything. If you want to store the data, whenever if you create one variable, automatically some data, some memory is reserved for you. Sir, this memory block always you have to refer by using S1. By using S1. Sir, S1 referring memory reserved for this class. Memory reserved for this class to store the data like roll number, student name, father name, total marks, average. Sir, these are all the data members of the class. So it is like your build house. Sir, whenever there is a plan, by following the plan, if you construct a real house, that a real house is nothing but an object and the plan is nothing but a class. Really constructed house is a object and the plan you developed is nothing but a class. So, sir, student, there is no data type called student. For that I have created something called some plan. Sir, student must be like this. It must have roll number, student name, total, average. It must have some eligible code. Sir, this is all my plan about student. So class is a plan. Class is a proposal. Class is a blueprint. But when you create one variable of the type class, then automatically some memory is reserved. And to refer that memory, S1 is useful to access that memory. Now, I want to know what is an object. I just want to know what is an object. Sir, object is nothing but instance of a class. Sir, with respect to the plan, whatever the house is constructed, we can call it as a instance of that plan. It is an instance of, it is a replica. It is a replica of that plan. Sir, it is an instance of a plan. So object is nothing but technically it is an instance of a class. Sir, when object is created, what will happen? Some memory is reserved. So object is a data storage area. Simply to say, sir, object is nothing but data storage area. Data storage area. Sir, object is physically exist. Sir, physically it exists. It is not a logical entity. Sir, it is physically exist. Now, an object is a, in Java, it is nothing but something like it's a variable. It's a variable of the type class. Sir, what an object contains? Sir, what your house contain? What your house contain? Sir, your house is built according to the plan. In the plan, how many rooms are there? In the real construction also, so many, those many rooms will come. Sir, in a class, what we will have? Data and eligible code that act upon the data. Same thing will come to the object also. Because it is a plan, according to the plan, one object is created. So what an object contain? Sir, object also contain data and code that act upon the data. Data and code that act upon the data. So this is all about class and object. Sir, this is all about class and object. Now tell me, to some extent at least, do you got some idea about what is a class and what is an object? You attended the today's session with zero knowledge about a class and object. Now, are you comfortable with the information what I shared in the today's session? Do you got some idea, basic idea what is a class and what is an object? Now observe that, sir, throughout our Java course, you have to keep it in mind 3 points very strongly. I can call them like mantra. You know what is that? Object can have 3 things. Sir, object can have 3 things. What is that? You know, state of an object, behavior of an object, and the next one, identity of an object. Sir, what is the state of an object? What is the behavior of an object? What is the identity of an object? First of all, in Java, whenever if you create an object, internally some memory is reserved for you. Sir, assume it is a student object. Sir, student is having some roll number 101, sir, and it is having one data member student name. Assume student name is XYZ, sir. XYZ. But object not only contains some data, it contains some code that act upon the data also. Sir, assume there is one function called F1 function. There is one function called F2 function. Now I want to mention one point here. Whether you observed that or not, I don't know. Sir, inside a class, can I club the data and eligible code that act upon the data? Yes, why not? Happily you can club the data and eligible code. Sir, what is a code means? What is a code? Code is nothing but a function only. Sir, code is nothing but function only. But have you ever heard about this term called a method? Have you ever heard about this term called a method? Sir, method. Sir, do you know what is meant by method? Most of the people are having confusion. Sir, what is a method? Now let me remove all your confusions with today's session. A method is nothing but a function, boss. A method is nothing but a function. Sir, if that a function is defined inside a class, you are not supposed to call this one as a function. You are supposed to call it as a method. What is that? First of all, method is a function. Method and function both are same. But if the function is created inside a class, you are not supposed to call it as a function. You are supposed to call it as a method. Now, do you got the clarity? What is a method? Everyone, can you please tell me? Do you got the clarity? What is a method? What is a method? So, if a function is defined inside a class, it is called as method. Sir, simply method, function, both are interchangeable words. But what is the difference is there? If I say function can be defined either inside the class or outside the class. Anywhere you can call it as a function. But if the same function is created within the class, you should not call it as a function. Maybe internally you can shout. Internally you can shout 1,000 times function, function, function. But when you speak out, when you are going to speak out, don't speak like it as a function. Please shout it like a method. It's not a function, it's a method. Now coming to the point, sir. Now coming to the point, sir. Every object contains data and code that act upon the data. Sir, data is nothing but variables part. Code is nothing but methods. Sir, code is nothing but methods. So every object contains, sir, every object contains data. Sir, the data part of an object along with the values inside these data members. Sir, the data part of an object along with the values inside this data member, together we can call it as a state. Sir, can you please tell me what is the state of an object? The data members along with the values inside those data members, we can call it as a state of an object. State of an object. Now anyone tell me, sir, there is one function called f3. Is this f3 is eligible to access this data? Sorry, get out. You are not allowed. You are not allowed because you are ineligible code. F1, F2, both are only these two functions are eligible code to act upon the data. Now, sir, the methods which are defined inside a class, methods which are defined inside a class, methods which are defined inside a class, which are eligible to access the data. Sir, using these methods, I can give some data to these data members. I can run some operations on this data. I can update the data. I can validate the data. Sir, any operation if you want to perform on this data, it should be done with the help of these functions or methods only. So the methods associated with the object is called as a behavior. Is called as behavior. Behavior. Sir, now anyone tell me, sir, here student S1, sir. Student S1. Sir, what is S1? S1 is a variable of the type student. Sir, what is student? Student is a type of class. It's a user defined data type. Sir, S1 is a reference name. Yes, S1 is a reference name. Whenever if you want to refer this data stored inside the memory block, whenever if you want to refer the data stored inside the memory block, whatever the data stored inside the memory block is generally called as an object. To refer this object, whatever the name we are using, that name is nothing but object identity. Sir, with which name object can be referred? With which name object can be referred? With which name object can be accessed? That name is nothing but identity of an object. Now tell me, how many of you are comfortable with the explanation? What is the state of an object? What is the state of an object? Can anyone tell me what is state of an object? Data members along with the values, data members along with the values of an object is nothing but state of an object. Sir, what is the behavior of an object? What is the behavior of an object? What is the behavior? So methods associated with an object. Sir, methods associated with an object is nothing but behavior. Sir, what is the identity of an object? What is identity of an object? Sir, it is the name with which we can refer the object. Sir, with which we can refer the object, that name is nothing but identity. You have to repeat the following 3 points multiple times until the completion of your Java course. We are going to repeat the same terms several times until the completion. Now understood everyone? Can you please tell me, understood everyone? Yes or no? You got the idea about what is state of an object, what is the behavior of an object, what is the identity of an object, right? Now let me open your material which I am going to provide. Sir, this is the material which I am going to provide. Very clearly mentioned what are the drawbacks of procedure orientation, what is object oriented approach, what are object oriented principles we are having, right? What is mean by encapsulation, what is mean by abstraction, what is a class, what is an object, what is the state, and what is the behavior, and what is the identity of an object. Sir, up to this we concluded everything very clearly. Now let us start writing the program in Java, for which I think you people are eagerly waiting from last 3 sessions. Sir, every day you are teaching only theoretical part. When we can write a program, like so many people are eagerly waiting. Now we are going to entering into the steps which we will follow if you want to write one basic program in Java. Not basic program, from tomorrow onwards we are going to write so many programs until the completion of this Java course. Whatever the programs you want to write, sir, these steps are mandated. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. But remember, every day step 1 is not compulsory. Every day step 1 is not compulsory. Only first day. Sir, today we are entering into the concept called how to write one program in Java. So that's why step 1 is compulsory today only. Even tomorrow also not required. Now what is step 1? Sir, generally what we will do, suppose if the batch will take 30 days or 40 days to complete the Java course, suppose if I explain almost 50 to 60 programs in the 40 sessions, generally what I can do, have you ever observed that my computer, so I can open D drive. Now can you please observe that, sir, what are all these things, yellow colored things? These are all nothing but folders. Generally whatever things, sir, generally whatever things, whatever the programs I use to explain, whatever the programs I use to explain, whatever the programs I use to explain, generally I can store them. Generally I can store them. Generally I can store them in one folder, sir. In one folder. Sir, in Windows operating system we can call it as a folder, whereas in the DOS operating system we can call it as a directory. We can call it as a directory. Now what is step 1? Sir, create a directory. Directory or folder, both are okay, no problem at all. Sir, directory or folder, both are okay. But remember, whatever the directory you are going to create, it will act as a default package. It will act as a default package. You may not understand the meaning of this line. At the time of packages in Java, again I am going to repeat this point. Remember this point, whatever the folder or directory you are going to create today, it will act as a default package. Now open my computer. Any drive you can select, no problem. I am going to select D drive. Click on new folder. Click on new folder. Sir, rename that new folder with JB, Java batch. Successfully I have created one directory with the name called JB, Java batch. JB, Java classes or Java batch. So step 1 is over. Step 1 is over. Now let us come to the step 2. Sir, developing a program. Developing means you have to type the program now. You have to type the program. Sir, I want to explain something. What I am doing, I am using some software called something called Edit Plus or Notepad or Microsoft Word or something like even Paint. Several tools, several applications I am using to explain whatever the thing I want to explain while typing. So to type something, I'm going to use some application. So like that, if you want to develop your Java program, if you want to type the Java program, sir, some application is required. That may be Notepad, You can use Microsoft Word also. You can use any third-party application also, no problem at all. And that step is nothing but developing the Java program. So open any text editor, no problem. Either you can use a Notepad or Edit Plus. Sir, Edit Plus is a software. So every day I'm typing something. Sir, your class notes. For that I'm using Edit Plus. I feel that it's a very beautiful editor software. It's a beautiful editor software. Why? Because, sir, when I type something, it is going to give some different colors with respect to the Java program or C program or C++ or Python. For example, let me show you one Python program. It will give some basic information. If you see that, so it is going to give you some beautiful colors for keywords one color, for other things in a different color. So some beautiful appearance will come. So because of that reason, I prefer Edit Plus software. You can download, no problem. It is available for free of cost. But for your kind information, it is not available for free of cost throughout year or throughout lifelong. It is not free. It is a 30 days trial version only. Sir, 30 days trial version only. After 30 days, you have to purchase the license key. Otherwise, no problem. One window will come. You have to purchase this software. Like one window will come. Drag that window to somewhere in your computer, and you can do your work. No problem at all. Nothing will happen. Clear, right? So what is that? Sir, in order to type your Java program, you can use any Edit Plus or Notepad software. Type the Java program what you want and save that Java program with any name, but a file extension must be .java. The source code that is created in this step is known as compilation unit. Sir, let me take Edit Plus, select a file menu, select a new. There is something called Java, but I don't want to select Java. I can take normal text. One new page came. Sir, you can type anything. Assume, sir, this is the Java code. Sir, assume this is the Java code. Happily, you can type any lines of code, no problem. You can type any lines of code, but compulsory. These are the basic steps that you are supposed to understand. Don't use IDE. I never recommend to use IDE if you are a beginner. I never recommend to use IDE. Compulsory, some basic steps you are supposed to understand. Clear, right? As a beginner, you are not supposed to use this IDE. Clear, right? Sir, this is a standard procedure. We have several IDEs, but it is not recommended. Now the question is, sir, without knowing any fundamentals, how can I write a Java program? Sir, just today you started explaining how to write a Java program, but you didn't give any much knowledge for us. What to write and where to write. How can we write one Java program? No problem. Can you please answer anyone? In your C++, what is the entry point of the program? In your C++, what is the entry point of the program? Exactly. Main is the entry point of the program. Sir, even in the Java also, main is the entry point of the program. Just let me write void followed by space, main followed by open bracket and closing bracket. I don't know anything except these 3 lines, sir. I am a very beginner in the Java. I don't know anything, but I know one point strongly. Main is the entry point even for the Java program also. Okay. Then after, you have to save the program. Sir, where can I save the program? In the D drive. You created one folder. What is the folder? Java batch, sir. Java batch. Sir, with what name I have to save the program? With any name you can save, no problem. Sir, this is my first program, but don't forget to enter extension as .java. Sir, any name you can give, no problem. Any name you can give, no problem. But Java program file extension must be .java. Sir, it is a mandatory rule and compulsory rule. Mandatory rule and compulsory rule. Now have a look once. What is the path of the file name? Sir, it is there in the D drive. In that we have created one directory called Java batch. In that we saved this code in a file whose name is first.java. Sir, whatever the code you have developed in this step, it is called as compilation unit. Compilation unit. Sir, we can call it as a source code also. We can call it as a source code also. Compilation unit, or we can call it as a source code, because sir, this code is ready for compilation. Sir, this code is ready for compilation. Now some people are having a doubt, sir, what is compilation? What is mean by compiler? Can you please text me? Can you please explain me? Sir, assume there is a movie. Sir, there is a movie, something, it is there in the Bengali. Sir, very famous. Everybody is saying that it's a beautiful movie worth watching. But I can understand only Telugu, sir. But I can understand only Telugu. Now tell me, sir, what is the possible solution? There are two possible solutions are there. One is you can watch the Bengali movie with the Telugu subtitles. Am I correct or not? Sir, you can watch Bengali movie with a Telugu subtitle. For every scene on the bottom of the screen, you are going to get Telugu subtitle, so that by reading the Telugu subtitle, I can understand that to possible extent. This is one. Sir, what is the possibility two? Why don't you translate the total movie into the Telugu dubbed version? Telugu dubbed version. So, sir, here Bengali is nothing but my Java program. Sir, my Java program consisting of English like words, but in these English like words, who can't understand? My computer can't understand. So translation is required. For that translation, one software or one program is required. That software is nothing but compiler, and the process is nothing but a compilation. And the process is nothing but compilation. Sir, compilation is nothing but converting instructions written in the high level language. High level language means your Java is a high level, C is a high level, C++, Python, all these are high level languages. In which language user feels comfortable, or user can use English like statements to write a program, such kind of language is a high level language. So this code is ready for translation. Who is going to provide the translation? Compiler. What is the process? Compilation. Right?